Hello YouTube, Film Buff 06 here, and to start off I want to pay a little tribute to the great Nelson Mandela, who passed away aged 95 last night. And yeah, it's very sad news. It's very sad news. May the man rest in peace. And not only was this guy a legend and an icon, but he was also an inspiration. But he also inspired so many people around the world. So really sad that he's gone. He will be sorely missed by everyone, literally everyone around the world. But anyway, this is going to be a review of the 11th Hour, which was initially broadcast on BBC One on the 3rd of April 2010, was directed by Adam Smith, and was written by Steven Moffat, who at that point took over as the new executive producer from Russell T Davies, and it of course is the first ever full episode to feature Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. And also introduce a new companion, Karen Gillan, as Amy Pond. Now originally the title of this episode was going to be titled "The Doctor Returns," but Moffat had decided that title sounded a bit boring, so he rightly renamed it the 11th Hour because it refers to not only the introduction of the new Doctor. Now the plot of this episode, it picks up from where the End of Time Part 2 left off, when the newly regenerated 11th Doctor ends up having to crash land the TARDIS in the garden of this run-down little country house in this English village called Ledworth, which is which is home to this 7-year-old little Scottish girl called Amelia Pond, played by Karen Gillan's real-life cousin Caitlin Blackwood, who develops this innocent, childlike, childhood fascination with this, raggedy doctor, this strange, oddball, eccentric man who has nothing but a sonic screwdriver in hand, and but also operates a strange police telephone box from the 1960s, which he says is a time machine. Now Amelia shows the Doctor the scary-looking crack in her bedroom wall, which is kind of setting up the story arc for the rest of the series. And the Doctor opens this crack to find that it is actually an alien prison, which is run by this alien policing species not related to the Jadoon, called the Atraxi, who give the Doctor a psychic message telling him that Prisoner Zero has just escaped. The Doctor races back to his regenerating TARDIS once he hears the cloister bell sound, and Amelia. And he promises Amelia that he will come back in 5 minutes to take her with him, and he accidentally returns, but he accidentally returns 12 years too late, and finds himself confronted by the adult Amelia, now known as Amy, played by Karen Gillan, who, of course, who is a working police officer, or according to her, a kissogram, which attracted quite a bit of controversy at the time. And she's also grown to be a little bit distrusting of the Doctor, so it's up to the Doctor to regain her trust so that she and boyfriend Rory Williams, played by Arthur Darvill, who is not quite a companion just yet by this time, could help him take down Prisoner Zero and take him or her back to the Atraxi, because unless Prisoner Zero the human residents, meaning the Earth, will be incinerated after 20 minutes. Now there are so many great moments throughout this episode. Throughout this episode, there is the food eating scene. There is the food eating scene, the food eating montage, in which the Doctor tries every food that he can before settling on fish fingers and custard. There's also when the Doctor actually crash lands the TARDIS and he climbs out heads first before revealing his face to lots of Whovians everywhere. There's also the bit at the hospital when the Doctor utters this line, "Who da man?" Whilst confronting Prisoner Zero in its Olivia Colman form. That was hilarious. There's also the Doctor's reaction to the realization that he has kept Amelia waiting for 12 years. When the Doctor tells Amy why she said 6 months, and then Amelia asks him back why he said 5 minutes, and the look on his face when he says, what? That was just brilliant. There's also blimey. There's also the Doctor showing Amy the new look TARDIS before telling her that he is definitely a madman with a box. That scene was just beautifully well done, and it's just beautifully well done, and the new look TARDIS interior looked magnificent, very similar to the Peter Cushing films from the 60s. Maybe it was an obvious reference, who knows. And also, who could forget the memorable moment when when the Doctor, Amy and Rory are up on the hospital roof, and the Doctor confronts the Atraxi whilst putting on his new costume, and then we get to see all fleeting glimpses of all 10 previous Doctors before settling on the image of including Tennant himself. Then Matt walks across the image of Tennant and utters the immortal line, "Hello, I'm the Doctor." I mean, everything in that whole scene just screams awesomeness. I mean, from the performance that Matt Smith gave to the music by Murray Gold. I mean, to the timing, it was just brilliant, absolutely awesome. It defined the 11th Doctor for the first time, and also put Matt Smith's name firmly on the map. Now, what did I think of the 11th Hour itself? Wow, what a great way to introduce Matt Smith's 11th Doctor, and also to kickstart Series 5. I mean, Adam Smith's direction is excellent. Steven Moffat's script is very well written, which is kind of a rare thing that I would say for most of the scripts that he writes nowadays. The performances from all involved, including Karen Gillan, Arthur Darvill, and also guest stars like Olivia Colman from Broadchurch, Nina Wadia from EastEnders, and Annette Crosbie from One Foot in the Grave were all brilliant. Matt Smith in particular is the star of the show here, and he gives a brilliantly career-defining performance, and he is great to watch in every scene of this episode. The music by Murray Gold is, as always, out of this world, and it was great to see a completely new dynamic between the Doctor and his new companion. And also the comedy, was brilliantly well timed. It has to be said. Now, my only nitpick that I have with this episode, though, is just the underdevelopment of some of the characters. I mean, the Nina Wadia character just came across as a bit of a bitch, but she could have been more developed, as well as the villains, Prisoner Zero and the Atraxi. They could have been a lot more scarier if they had been more developed. The special effects on both creatures, they're okay, they're decent. Nothing that's special, really. Nothing related to the special effects within the Russell T Davies, David Tennant era. But other than that, everything else about this episode seems to work, perfectly. That's all that I'm going to really say about this episode. I'm pretty sure James Wilson and Matthew Rowney from Who Addicts Reviews are going to go into are going to go into greater detail about this episode when they do their review of this episode next week. But seriously, just go and check this episode out if you are a hardcore Matt Smith fan, or just a Doctor Who fan in general. I totally recommend it to you very, very highly. And in conclusion, I'm going to give the 11th Hour just a 9 out of 10. Just a truly fantastic first episode. And as I already said, a great way to introduce Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. Now, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the 11th Hour, and also what you think of Matt Smith's Doctor. Plus, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And until my next video, which is going to be a review / rant on Victory of the Daleks for Who Addicts Reviews, do take care everyone, and Geronimo!